Namaskar, namaste to everyone. Uh, I'm really happy to be part of this great conclave where I can see on the dais many stalwarts, Yoga Guru, Dr. Nagendra ji, and I can see Professor Nageshwarao and uh, Professor Nilima Gupta ji is here, and many other great scholars, um, corporate leaders, and thinkers. Really, I wanted to be with all of you. I'm missing this conference due to my prior commitments and then added programs. I was unable to make it. And yesterday I had to attend a program where Honorable Prime Minister has released one of our publications. So I returned today just now. So I wanted to share some of my thoughts, and organizers, Professor, my friends, Dr. Kiran is there, and Vikrant Singh ji and Pratyunjay Sharma ji. You have compelled me to sit with you for a few minutes. Therefore, I thought it is good when, after looking at the galaxy of audience, I'm afraid whether I'll be successful in sharing some of my thoughts. Anyway, it is not to teach you all, but to really share some of my thoughts which are relevant for this conference. Basically, HR conference is very known term in the field of business, corporate, and education. But at least nowadays, this new idea of, I think old idea, but new fashion is termed as, now henceforth we don't call human as resource, because ultimately human is human, and resources are meant for human. Not that human is used as resource for something else. So this concept is very important, because nowadays, today, just I was sitting next to a flight attendant, and she was sharing her experiences with me, just to share with you how world is really looking at humans as resource. And she told me that 8 hours she is flying every day, and flying with full alertness. And she is leading the entire cabin in 4 flights. Imagine, though she is young and energetic, she can do these jobs, and we are flying safely, and we enjoy their services. At the same time, on the other hand, of course they are well paid, but on the other hand, when I looked at as a human being, how she is really doing it. She said that I'm enjoying my job, but always there is a pitfall. Every moment I should be very alert, because if she, at her last flight, if she misses something in checking or something, because she has to look after the technicalities of flying, and she has to look after services, she has to look after, she's coordinating between the pilot and the entire crew. And just I'm giving one example. It was very alive to me. The point is that should we look at the humans as resources, or humans should be resourceful? Just for a thought. And basically, this was earlier discussed in our ancient scriptures also, whether our vidya, whatever knowledge or skill sets, and that we are imparting in our education system, we are educating, whether it is for life or life is meant for something else? This question, I think, is very pertinent question today. जीवन विद्या जीवन जीवनाय या जीवन विद्याय, इसको सोचना है हमें, जीवन को यदि समर्पित करना है या जीवन के लिए बाकी समर्पित करना है. So this relation itself is a very complex relation. I think coming to this part, when our perception is totally different, then naturally we get to know so many other views. Perhaps Indian thinkers did this. Atmarthe prithvim tejet. So this term itself is very great. Ultimately, Atmarthe means it is not Swartha. So we have to understand, Atma is totally different from Swa. Swa means individual. As we know, the whole world discusses about human rights. Human rights, I mean individual rights. Individual rights are protected against the public interest. But whether public interests are protected against individual rights, these questions are there always in our discussions, in public discussions or in the courts. We discuss this. But ultimately, our Shastras have looked at this issue in a different way. So there is something called Swa and there is something called Atma. So Atma is a concept which is all pervasive. That means we all belong to Atman. So we are Atmans. But Swa as an individual, it's my body, it's my mind and my individuality. Atma is not individual. We all Atmas. But Swa as an individual, I have something to do. And Atman ultimately is to be protected. So this is, even Ishavasya Upanishad says this. This distinction we should really understand. And with this distinction, when you look at the entire life, how to design, how to revise our thinking, that's very crucial, I think, in this at this point of time. I would like to take a couple of thoughts from Raghuvamsha and also from of course, I wanted to share something from Mahabharata, but there is no time. In Raghuvamsha, where Kalidasa is a very famous poet, it's not just poet in India is not just to entertain. We should understand. Kalidasa is why Kalidasa is has become eternal for us, very important us. If we want to understand the soul of India, soul of Bharat, then we should read Kalidasa. So Kalidasa has understood Bharata in a different way, different level. It is not just Raghuvamsha of the narration of the stories of Raghukula, but it is basically it is governance, it is human relations, and it is the questions that we come across everyday life, and then what sort of answers that we get from the history. It's a learning. It is not the study of the past. It is not narration of the past. It's not history. It is learning from the history, learning from the past. And that learning remains forever. So this is very, very important. In Mahabharata, Ramayana are not just history for us. If somebody says history, Indians don't have history, we don't have history. We have Itihasa. Itihasa is learning. Itihasa is eternal for us. Therefore, what we learn from this? So he narrates this very interesting shlokas. I just read a couple of them. Tyagaya sambhritarthana. They used to earn money, earn the resources. Why? Tyagaya, to give up. It's very interesting. Why do you earn? Just to give up. Just to give to others. Just to share with others. So the sharing part is the objective of earning. This is very important. Satyaya mitabhashanam. They used to speak very less. Why? to protect the satya, to be truthful, one should be very speaking less. I mean, he should have control over his tongue to speak truth. Because always, if you don't have control over tongue, I can say anything, but that becomes, So this four, so then he says, Shaishave Abhyasta Vidyanam, their whole life, how used to they enjoy. Shaishave Abhyasta Vidyanam, they used to learn in the beginning of their lifetime. And then Yauvane Visheshinam, during the youth, I mean, they sparred, they enjoy. And Vardhake Munivrittina, once they attain the retirement, they go for Munivritti. They leave everything and they go. This is not to be practiced even today in the same fashion, but it can be practiced in different ways. There are different ways. But these concepts, these ideas are to be really shared with everyone so that the Indian view for the life, the world view for the life is very important. One story I share with you. There is a king called Raghu. Raghukula, when we say, king called Raghu. He performed a yajna. When he performed yajna, he has to share all his wealth with the rest, praja. But it is not his wealth of his kingdom, wealth of the state, but his own personal wealth. He became wealthless. So once he earned so much, then he just gave up everything. And then all of a sudden a young boy comes to him. He is just graduated. A Kautsa comes to him and he says, I have completed my graduation and I have to pay my fees to my master, my guru. Then it is the duty of the king to pay, because I am graduated, and it is because earlier gurus never demanded the fees in the beginning. They used to accept the fees at the end of after graduation. And today, I don't know, we don't have that culture today. So while admission itself, we take the fees, and even we don't return. Okay, even if he fails, we don't return. But the culture was different. After completion of graduation, one has to pay the fees. Then it is the responsibility of the state. After graduation, responsibility of the state to really pay his fees so that he becomes resourceful for the state. Then he says, I am going to serve. I am going to serve your state, and you please pay my fees. When he went there, and then very interestingly he says, he was doing Sandhyavandanam in the evening. In his hand, he was holding a Mrinmaya Patra. That means, आप हिंदी में जानते हैं, पात्र जो था वो नॉर्मली किंग के पास क्या होता था, वो बहुत बड़ा सिल्वर का होता था, या तो चांदी का होता था, या तो गोल्ड का होता था. इनके पास वो नहीं था, एक मिट्टी के पात्र को लेकर एक संध्यावंदन कर रहा था. Then he got to know that this person does not have any money with him. So he was hesitating to ask. By the time he says, no, I want to give something to you, you just wait for a day. Then he prepared himself to go and invade Kubera for getting wealth, because he had wealth in the state, but that he cannot use. Then he wanted that, and by the time Kubera sent some wealth for him. And then after getting the wealth from the Kubera, maybe loan or something, gift, he did not even look at that. And he said, entire amount is yours. Take this. And he was, the Kautsa says, I don't require this. I require only that much money which I want to give it to my master, my guru. So he says it is very, very unusual to see arguing with each other. What was the argument? Argument is this: I don't require this much. And what was the argument? No, please take this. I don't use this. Once it is given, I have given it. Mentally, I have prepared myself to give it to it. So this argument went on for hours. So this is where we are today, and where the India's values and where we are today. So that very interestingly, Kalidasa says, गुरु के लिए देने के लिए जो था उससे ज्यादा न चाहते हुए रहने वाला शिष्य, और जितना उनके पास था सबको देने वाला एक राजा, इन दोनों के बीच में जो संवाद हुआ वो बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग था। ऐसा एक श्लोक हम देख सकते हैं। तो मैं इसलिए इसको शेयर कर रहा हूँ, ये हमारे प्राचीन भारत के जो इस तरह के कहानियाँ हैं, ये कहानियाँ नहीं हैं। These are really learnings for us, and we need to really enjoy this. And such value-based education, these are not just stories, but these are all a kind of teaching. So at the end, I would like to close my talk adding with one couple of lines from Kautilya. Just Shri Kiranji was mentioning Kautilya. Therefore, I take initial few sutras which can connect us to the entire value-based governance. To me, I am in administration for last 2 decades, and then when I understood I understood the governance, and I think in entire process, my understanding of ancient scriptures guided me. I mean, I look at the world with a special lens. That lens is our ancient scriptures. So this lens will help me to understand the world, look at the world in a different way. I think so. Because when I discussed with my friends, they said they think in different way and I think different way. That is because my own lens. I think we need to add this lens to in our education system, so that all our HR managers or the corporate leaders or the academic and political leaders can really contribute from Indian wisdom. I mean, Indian knowledge is not just information. It should be inculcated within, so that जैसे ये हम लेंस को हमारे आंख के अंदर डाल देते हैं, नहीं एक्सटर्नल नहीं है, तो एक्सटर्नल होगा तो उसको जब हम सोचेंगे तभी सोचेंगे, लेकिन इंटरनल हो जाएगा, इंटरनलाइज हो जाएगा, वो लेंस अंदर हो गया, तो उसके बाद हम जो भी देखेंगे उसी के द्वारा देखेंगे। तो इस तरह एक इंटरनलाइजेशन ऑफ इंडियन विजडम इज वेरी वेरी रिक्वायर्ड, वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड। अदरवाइज all our ideas are just an external ideas today, because I am living in a world where because I come from certain education system which drives my thinking, and entire world is moving in one direction and I have to go in the same direction. Today we are into new education policy, which has though it is written that it focuses on Indian knowledge system, it is driven by Western practices. So all these are a kind of dichotomy is there. I looked at India with 2 words. One is India and Bharat. Today we experienced 2 words. We also experience India here and we also experience Bharat here. So we are living in 2 worlds. So sometimes we switch here, sometimes we switch over the other world. And people living in India, they looked at Bharat from different perspective. People living in Bharat look at India from different perspective. And they both have their own ideologies, their own logic, their own conclusions. But we, people like us, who think about Bharat, sitting in India but looking at Bharat. No? I think many of us have the same experience. We are sitting in India but looking at Bharat. But are we living in Bharat and looking at India? That should be our ultimate goal. And for that, I think we need to change certain wisdom we have to inculcate. For example, Sukhasya, see, our own experience, Sukhasya Moola, kya hai? Sukha ka mool kya hai? What is the mool of Sukha? Ultimately, Sukha is important. Sukhasya Moola, we just connect. Yes, because if I should, if I want, I should have a very nice residence, very nice car to be happy. Simple calculation is there. This is there, this side. Because if all comforts make me happy. So happiness and comforts have direct relation. This is our today's understanding. But a great economist or state craftsman, Kautilya says, no, sukhasya moolam dharma, dharmasya moolam artha. There is a connection. I mean, sukh and resource, I mean, artha, comforts, both have relation. But there is one idea in between which is missing here. Sukhasya moolam dharma, dharmasya moolam artha. Then this connection is established. So we have to add a missing connection here. Sukhasya moolam dharma, dharmasya moolam artha, arthasya moolam rajyam. If you want to really have a good resource, you should have a good state. It's good governance. Arthasya moolam rajyam. Sutra is you conquer yourself. When you conquer yourself, you can conquer the entire world. This is beautiful term that is given by Indriya Vijaya.
Thank you, sir.
Therefore, today we all should really plan in a new way. With these words, I thank you very much for all patient listening, and I thank the organizers for involving me. Sometimes in later stage I will be with you. Thank you very much.